I saw the world for 42 years through a lens of guilt and shame and unworthiness. And everything I did was tainted by that view. And I stand here today with a life that I love, a man that I love, very fulfilled, weightless, and free from the weight of that anvil that I carried for so long. And the only regret really that I have is that I didn't let it go sooner. What I love about Star is that Star opens the door to start letting go of that weight, to start healing and start putting it behind you and redefining your life in terms of the things that you want and the dreams that you have for yourself, and not the things that happen to you that weren't ever your fault. So my name is Vonnie Hawkins, and I am really delighted to be a participant in STAR's Truth Out Loud program. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I have a clinical practice, and I also do some systems change and systems advocacy work. I founded a nonprofit last year that does exactly that. And what I do is bring communities together to think about how they can solve their problems with local expertise and local resources. I think we have a lot of work to do when it comes to sexual assault with children. And my mother passed away last year, but before she did, we had an opportunity to talk about my experiences as a child. And what she told me was she carried a lot of guilt when she found out what had happened because she didn't know who to turn to and she didn't know what to do. And so she, in her later years, actually started a children's advocacy center. And I think that was part of her way of giving other parents a place to go when that happened to their children. She couldn't time travel and, fix what happened for me, but that was something that she could do to help other parents. And I think that also inspired me to be a part of the solution when it comes to this. When I first thought about doing this, and it was to talk about your story, it's sad, but I thought about what incidents of sexual assault do I talk about? Because as many people probably experience, I've had numerous incidents of sexual assault across my lifetime at different ages in my life. And so, I thought that was kind of a sad thing, but I know that it's very common. My response to the Me Too movement was to say, me too. I'm not as big a Facebook fan as I used to be, but I do follow on Twitter, and I was very tuned into the Me Too movement. When it started happening and people were sort of beginning to post about their experiences, I felt a little braver. And I posted on Facebook, me too. And one of the most rewarding things was that a lot of my male friends went underneath my post and said, I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. And so there was this sense of digging up something that I had carried and buried for so long, being, the empathy was so healing. And I never had the courage to do it until other people were brave enough to do it. It's so hard to admit that it happened to you. It's such a vulnerable, raw, exposed feeling. And that's why a lot of people don't disclose. It comes packaged sometimes with a big pile of emotion that sometimes you worry that you won't ever get it shoved back into the bag to where you can, exist normally. It's that scary. I would like to see parents be more willing to look at the statistics and realize that if it's not happening to your kids, it's happening to your neighbor's kids. And it's affecting our families by 1 or 2 degrees of separation. I spent a lot of my life feeling broken and like I had disappointed everyone around me, and I didn't know why. I couldn't meet all these expectations in school. I knew I was smart, but I wasn't making the best choices because I just wanted to numb out and be accepted and belong. And that put me in a lot of unhealthy situations that need to belong and be accepted. And I think I just want parents to understand that I know it's difficult being a parent, but I want you to think about your discomfort with talking about uncomfortable things and the discomfort your child will have maybe carrying a weight of feeling broken for years and years of their life. I want parents and institutions to do something when they're 7, not when they're 49. And if we can all start saying this is an epidemic, it's rampant, it's happening all the time, and have conversations about it, we can stop it sooner, and we can stop the damage sooner, and we can stop the suffering sooner. Research says that 70% of women with chronic substance abuse and addiction issues are likely to have been molested or assaulted. That's a staggering number. And if we are inclined to judge those women for some moral failing, I think that's unfair, and we are obligated to dig a little deeper and understand more about what's going on in their lives. Numbing out sometimes is the only thing you can do to stay on this planet. And you could look at it as they're coping the best they can because they can't talk about it. They've got no one to go to. So if you'd like to do something about that problem, make it safe for people to talk about it and be someone that they can go to. It takes a lot of courage to reach out and be vulnerable, particularly in that circumstance. But organizations like STAR are there for you. The counselors there are wonderful. That's where the healing begins. It can't be taboo. We have to talk about it. It's uncomfortable, but it's the only way we're going to make things better.